this is Mariah Young with Uptown Homeschoolers. I've got Jasmine Cook here with me today. We're going to do a segment called Gabby Gals. Today we're going to talk about homeschool myths. I don't know how many of you guys have heard. Jazz, how about you?
Oh yeah.
Well, the first one I was thinking that we would cover is the nerdy. We posted a video on the co-op number 7, and you should watch it. It's Tim Hawkins. It's hilarious. It's the homeschool family done to Adam's family, and I think they cover this pretty well. But I really do think we get a pretty bad rap for being really nerdy, don't you?
Absolutely. People assume a lot about homeschoolers.
Yeah, even to the extent that I think a lot of people just don't even think that we can, you know, get along with the community because we're way too smart.
We're social outcasts and we all wear denim jumpers.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. In fact, I saw a video on YouTube, a cute gal actually, video that she did that's all on homeschooled versus homeschooler. I think what she was trying to do is really cute. I don't think there's a huge difference between homeschooled and homeschooler. I think the difference is just, do you fit the stereotype or do you not?
Even as a homeschooler, or having my kids homeschooled, we still say sometimes, oh, you can tell they're homeschooled, you know, even though we're part of the community ourselves. So I think even we sometimes can get caught with the stereotypes.
It's true. I'm pretty nerdy from time to time, for sure. But I still try to fit a little bit and be relevant. And
for sure.
Yeah. But I do think that kind of goes right into our next one, is the unfashionable.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. I don't want to get on a soapbox, but I understand having to budget and having to, you know, make clothing. Actually, I love making clothing. If I could do it and have more time, I totally would. But I would have to make sure that it was, you know, fashionable too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get stuck in the idea that that's not important, but to kids it is. You know, we have to be relevant within our culture. Mm-hmm. You know, not to get all serious, but
I think so too. I mean, I think it's hard for people to relate if you walk into a store or, you know, a community business and they can't really relate to you. They can't take you seriously necessarily because you look like you came from a whole nother era.
And what's with the pants, people? Come on. Can we give our kids pants that fit?
Yes.
You know, the high water pants is one of those things that, you know, people assume about homeschoolers. If you have high water pants, you're probably homeschooled.
Yes, it's true. And the haircuts that go with it. Okay.
The mom haircuts?
Yes.
Oh no, don't cut your kid's hair.
I've still been there and done that. You know, I have. And I have to say, I just got to a point too where it's like, you know, even if I could pay $6, $10, something like that, it's worth it, you know. I think that's kind of big. Like, I think there's a couple of things, don't you, that you could do. Like, if you're on a budget, there's several things that I think we can do. Like, obviously, you know, a haircut is pretty big. I know I feel weird with a bad haircut.
Oh, sure. Go to beauty school. It's like $5 to get a haircut at the beauty school. And at least they're getting some training. You know?
Right. I think they've kind of upped the ante a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Too. Like, I know that the one off of Mill Plain here has actually put in a full-on beauty salon, not a beauty salon,
They do nails, they do pedicures, they do waxing, they do all of that, and it's for a fraction of the cost.
Right, and I think even a lot of them now, if you go to like one in more of an uptown or downtown area, they are even doing a lot of the razor cuts now. So you got to stay relevant.
Right.
So that's a really great tip, I think. And then you're awesome at finding stuff at, you know, whole resell and coupons and all of that stuff too.
Yeah, I don't have any problems. I very rarely buy anything new. It's almost always at resale or garage sales and all that stuff. But you can still buy your kids cool things without it costing a fortune.
Right. I think the last thing, and we can't hit too many things because we want to keep these about 15 minutes, is being desocialized.
Don't even get me started.
Okay. So there's so many things that go into this one, obviously. I mean, we all know, we all have been in high school and middle school and realized that the whole hierarchy that works within the school system is like a social boiling room. It's ridiculous. It's not real life.
No.
You don't get built-in friends in real life. You don't, you know, all these things.
You're not with all the kids that are your same age, you know.
But there is the flip side of that of homeschoolers can also isolate themselves sometimes.
For sure.
And we can tend to just stay in our homes, not want to get out, be so frustrated with the world that we just don't even go there.
I think the ones that do isolate, that is kind of the mentality, is that the world is not a safe place, and so we stay to ourselves, apart from the world, when really we need to be a part. We can be separate, but we need to be a part of our communities, of our neighborhoods. And if our kids don't grow up with some sort of way to bridge that gap, then what do they do as adults? What do they do when they teach their kids? They're going to do the same thing. So
I've always thought that it would be better not to have our kids have a culture shock when they finally do get out into the world.
Absolutely.
And I want to make sure that they experience as much as they can with me present, able to walk them through it, than to get there and be like, oh!
You don't want to just drop them in and expect them to swim if they haven't had swim lessons.
Exactly. That's a beautiful metaphor. I love it. Oh, it's so good. And the other thing I was thinking of too is, like, one thing that I did with my kids when they were younger is we actually role played with them. You know, we would help Bianca learn how to go and talk to other kids and, like, just ask. You know, if I saw her messing up in some way, not messing up, but if I saw that she wasn't, like, connecting with kids, I'd just kind of pay attention to what it was. Like, was she just going up and saying, "Hi, my name's Bianca," and then,
"Can I have your email?"
Right, exactly, what she did. Sweet girl, she was so young. She wanted everybody's email. But I would just, hey, how about you just ask them, hey, can I play with you? Maybe they're already playing something, you know, so why don't you just ask, can I play with you? And that really helped. In fact, I felt that she did better when we were outside and we were practicing that on a regular basis than she did when we finally did go to a school and she just had built-in friends, because then she didn't really know what to do as much. You've got to teach your kids some social skills.
Absolutely.
You know, we can't, especially being homeschoolers, I think we have to try even a little bit harder, because we have that stereotype put on us, to make sure our kids can actually, like, talk to people.
And it's one thing for your kids to be able to talk to adults.
Yeah.
But they need to learn how to talk to kids and their peers. And I think a lot of times it comes easier for homeschool kids to speak to adults.
Yeah.
But they have to be able to interact with their peers as well.
Right.
We just had that same conversation actually this morning with our almost teenager about some of the social issues that are happening now that he's in middle school, in public school for the first time. You know, just being prepared for the things that are inevitably going to come up. How do you feel about dating? How do you feel about kissing? How do you feel about drugs? You know, all these things that we need to talk about with our kids, where they have a pre-programmed response, so that when these things do come up, they're prepared for what they're going to say.
I think that's huge. I think that's huge. And I think just doing some of these things, besides getting into the deep things that they're going to face, I think it's also just good for them to have some basics, so that when you do walk up to a homeschool kid, which this has happened to us, your child says hello and they just
completely ignore you.
Oh my gosh. One of the arguments that I heard a couple weeks ago was that kids who are in a homeschool situation don't get put with other people who aren't necessarily going to mesh with their personality and learn how to deal with them. And I think to some sense, okay, that's kind of true, but at the same time,
it's a stereotype.
It is. It is. And I don't think we have to worry about that quite as much, because you're right, they talk with adults more, they have, you know, good interactions in the community, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Hollywood is definitely pushing that one pretty big. I know. All the things that you see, oh, I was homeschooled, and they don't know how to interact with anybody. Just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's usually on some criminal show, and they have to get on the stand, and
My parents locked me in the closet while they played World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's horrible. That actually happens.
I can't even.
Or that we just sit our kids in front of the TV all day, and that they don't really do any school. Or that we just have them bake, and that's their math for the day.
Right. And I mean, granted, there are the different styles and the different teaching styles along with the different learning styles, but I think we need a little more credit than that. Most of us are pretty interactive with our kids.
Yeah. And do the research. You know, the research shows that homeschool kids actually score very, very well, enter into colleges, are very successful for the majority.
And I just, you know, when I heard that, my rebuttal was just, you know what, there's also bad teachers out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are you going to do? When I remember having a teacher who, the cheerleaders and the football players, because they were on their football team or the cheerleaders flirted with him, gave them A's. And,
lovely.
and Matt, you know, immediately. And I remember my husband telling me he could always bribe that particular teacher with a Whopper, too.
There's going to be good and bad in everything
Right.
in life, not just in homeschooling. And fortunately, we're in a state where, you know, the regulations are pretty strict.
Right.
And so I think the majority of the people in our state anyway have some accountability. And really that's what it falls down to is having the freedom to be able to teach our kids, but also having some boundaries where you have the accountability.
Mm-hmm. I think I actually appreciate our regulations a little more because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate having to go through all the hoops, but at the same time, I think we've got one of the best states to homeschooling because of it. So
Yeah.
I know Oregon's pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, ladies, I hope you enjoyed our time of Gabby Gals. I am sure thankful to have Jasmine here with me today, and I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did, and we were able to just kind of sit here and chat just like we normally do. This is how we relate all the time, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it too, and you kind of got to be a fly on the wall for us today. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.